Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to what's happening around the NFL lately, especially with the Steelers, you know that the 2025 season could be one of the most pivotal in recent memory. And why is that? Well, it's because Pittsburgh, under the leadership of their front office, has made some moves that scream Super Bowl contention. The offseason was anything but quiet, and the Steelers are clearly positioning themselves as serious contenders, not just for a playoff run but for a deep postseason push, maybe even a Lombardi trophy. First, let's talk about what they did just before training camp started. The Steelers signed none other than Aaron Rodgers to a one-year deal. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, Aaron Rodgers. Isn't he closer to the end of his career? Yes, but here's the thing. Rodgers has said this will be his final NFL season. That adds a layer of motivation, a sense of urgency that could propel him to elevate this team to heights we haven't seen in a long time. And let's be honest, Rodgers still has that arm talent, that leadership, and that competitive fire that makes any team he's on a threat. But it's not just Rodgers. The Steelers didn't stop there. They went out and acquired some big names that send a clear message. This team isn't just here to compete, they're here to win it all. They signed DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks, a superstar wide receiver known for his incredible speed, physicality, and ability to make contested catches. Metcalf's addition instantly upgrades the Steelers' passing game and gives Rodgers a true deep threat to work with. Imagine the possibilities, Rodgers launching those bombs to Metcalf, stretching defenses, opening up the run game, and creating mismatches all over the field. And that's not all. They also made a trade for Jalen Ramsey, the star cornerback from the Miami Dolphins. Ramsey is one of the best defensive backs in the league, a shutdown corner who can take away the opponent's top receiver. His presence instantly boosts Pittsburgh's secondary, which has been a question mark in recent seasons. Plus, they added Jonnu Smith from the Dolphins in the Ramsey deal, giving their tight end core a boost with a veteran who can be a reliable target in the passing game. Looking at this roster, you can't help but feel that the Steelers are all in. They're stacking talent, blending youth with veteran leadership, and creating a squad that looks like a legit Super Bowl contender. But of course, the offseason moves are just the beginning. Now, it's about how these pieces come together on the field. And that leads us to an intriguing rumor that's been making the rounds. Could the Steelers be eyeing another trade to bolster their offense even further? That's where things get really interesting. A well-known NFL writer, Corey Woodruff from For the Win, has floated the idea that Pittsburgh might be interested in acquiring a wide receiver who's been a favorite of Rodgers, Allen Lazard. Now, Lazard has a history with Rodgers from their days together at Green Bay, and that chemistry could be exactly what the Steelers need to make this offense click. Woodruff suggests that a deal involving Lazard might be on the horizon. The idea is that the Steelers could offer a fifth-round pick in the 2026 draft in exchange for Lazard. And honestly, it's a trade that makes a lot of sense when you consider the current roster. Lazard isn't a flashy number one receiver, but he's a reliable target, someone who can slot in as a second or third option and provide Rodgers with a familiar, trusted set of hands. Think about it. Lazard caught 37 passes for 530 yards and 6 touchdowns last season with the Jets. Not eye-popping numbers, but effective enough to make a difference, especially when paired with Rodgers. Lazard's size, route running, and ability to win contested catches could be exactly what the Steelers need to stabilize their passing attack and give Rodgers that comfort blanket. And for Pittsburgh, acquiring Lazard wouldn't be overly expensive. A fifth-round pick is a small price to pay for a player who could immediately contribute and fit seamlessly into their system. Now, the timing here is key. The NFL offseason is a flurry of moves, and teams are always looking to fine-tune their rosters before the season kicks off. The narrative here is that the Steelers, with their newfound talent and the addition of Rodgers, are just a piece or two away from being a complete package. An extra receiver like Lazard could be that final piece, especially considering his rapport with Rodgers and his familiarity with the offensive system. But let's not forget that the NFL is a league of strategic moves. The Steelers have shown they're willing to pull the trigger when it makes sense. They're not just building a team, they're constructing a contender capable of making a serious run. The division, of course, remains highly competitive. The Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, and Cleveland Browns are all formidable opponents with their own star-studded rosters and playoff aspirations. But Pittsburgh's aggressive approach signals they're not content to sit back and wait for things to happen. They want to make a statement, and acquiring Lazard could be the kind of move that shifts the balance of power in the AFC North. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. The Steelers have a rich history of success, a tradition built on strong defense, resilient play, and clutch performances in big moments. They've won 6 Super Bowls, and even though the last one came back in 2008, the franchise's culture of winning remains intact. The current roster, with the additions of Rodgers, Metcalf, Ramsey, and potentially Lazard, has all the makings of a team that can not only reach the playoffs, but also make a deep run. The question is whether these moves will be enough to overcome the other AFC powers, especially with the NFL's parity making every season unpredictable. And let's not forget about the coaching staff. Mike Tomlin is still at the helm, one of the most respected and successful head coaches in league history. His leadership and ability to get the best out of his players are critical factors in Pittsburgh's potential success this year. The Steelers' front office, led by GM Omar Khan, has shown a willingness to be aggressive, and if the Lazard trade, or similar moves, materialize, it'll be another feather in their cap. Looking ahead, the Steelers' schedule is filled with challenges and opportunities. They face tough division rivals, but with their revamped roster, there's a new confidence brewing among fans and analysts alike. The hope is that Rodgers can bring not only his arm, but also his veteran leadership, his locker room presence, and that winning mentality that could rub off on the entire squad. Metcalf's speed and athleticism will stretch defenses, while Ramsey's elite coverage can shut down the top receivers on opposing teams. These aren't just upgrades, they're game changers. And let's take a quick moment to reflect on the broader NFL landscape. The league is incredibly competitive, with every team trying to outsmart and out-execute the others. But the Steelers are clearly aiming to be at the forefront of that race this season. Their moves this offseason have sent a message. They're not just here to participate, they're here to win. The AFC North, traditionally one of the toughest divisions in football, just got a lot more interesting. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson and a dynamic offense, the Bengals have Joe Burrow and a high-powered attack, and the Browns, well, they've been rebuilding but are always dangerous with their talent. Pittsburgh's approach is to match or surpass that level, and with these strategic moves, they're making a clear statement. Now, for the fans, this is an exciting time. The anticipation is building. Will they make the Lazard move? Will other trades follow? How will these new players gel together? All these questions are swirling around, and it's what makes this offseason so fascinating for Steelers supporters. The energy, the optimism, and the belief that this team can finally make that deep playoff run are palpable. And you, as a Steelers fan, you should be feeling that same excitement. This team has the talent, the leadership, and the drive to go all the way, and the potential addition of Lazard could just be the piece that puts them over the top. In conclusion, the Steelers are in a very interesting position right now. They've made bold moves, and the whispers of a potential Lazard trade add an extra layer of intrigue. The team is built for a big season, with Rodgers leading the way, surrounded by playmakers like Metcalf and Ramsey, and possibly Lazard. The AFC North is watching closely, and the league as a whole is on notice. Pittsburgh is back in the conversation, and they're not planning to take a backseat anymore. The upcoming weeks will be critical to see how these rumors develop, and whether the Steelers can finalize this deal. One thing's for sure, though, they're certainly aiming high, and with the talent they've assembled, it's not far-fetched to imagine a deep playoff run and maybe another shot at that elusive 7th Super Bowl title. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential Lazard trade? Do you believe it's the move that could finally push this team over the edge? Or do you think they should focus on other areas of the roster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the Steelers. We love engaging with the community, and your insights help shape the conversation around this team's future. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and all the latest news about the Pittsburgh Steelers. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep riding this roller coaster together. The best is yet to come, and I can't wait to see what the Steelers do next. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the faith, Steelers Nation.